We're in the middle of a 19-year-old pecan orchard. This was an orchard that was planted at high density. Trees are spaced 35 by 35. However, in year 17, shading became an issue. And at that point in time, we need to start removing trees. And behind me, you can see that. If we would look straight ahead at the blue tree, the blue flag tree, that is a permanent tree. But you'll notice on both the left and the right of that tree, there are stumps where the temporary trees have been removed. You can also look diagonally down there and see from those stumps, that entire row has been taken out on the diagonal, on both the left and the right. The blue tree will stay as our permanent tree. Then you can see alternating yellow trees. Those will be taken out in the next several years as shading becomes an issue on the permanent tree. Working with high-density pecan orchards, one of the hardest issues a grower will have to address is when to thin the trees and how to thin the trees. If we talk about how to thin the trees, they can come in with a chainsaw and cut down 17, 18-year-old trees. However, the damage that is done to the remaining trees is significant. The time it takes to fell, to cut up, and to remove those trees is significant. Another option is to come in and use a piece of lumber equipment. You can see some pictures here. It's a feller buncher. It comes in and grabs the tree, cuts it off the base, takes it back out and sets it in the middle of the row without affecting adjacent trees. And a third option is that you can come in and move the trees. Come in and use a 90-inch Big John tree spade and spade those trees up and move them. Whether you sell those to a landscaper or you double the size of your acreage by going into acreage that has not been planted and putting in trees that are 15 to 17 years old. It doesn't really matter which option you use, it's what best fits your management strategy. One problem that many people see in their pecan trees, especially when they only have several, is the holes. And many times it'd be concentric rings of holes around the tree. Some people say, what kind of borer is it? But it's not actually a borer, it's a bird. The yellow-bellied sapsucker is known to come in and to peck the holes in the tree with the understanding that the sap would come out of those holes, it would attract insects, and then the sapsuckers would come back and eat the insects for food. Nothing can really be done about that. In North Carolina, the yellow-bellied sapsucker is considered a migratory bird, so there's no control options for that. So we just have to live with it, and many times you'll see trees that are seriously affected by this, but it's not really a major issue on the productivity and growth of the tree. In eastern North Carolina, there's a great need to irrigate our pecan trees. We know that pecans are a river bottom tree and have a fairly high demand water usage. On our light sandier soils here, we cannot use a trickle system, which puts out a single drop of water that goes down, because it wets only a very small portion of the root system. In this part of the state, we're going to use micro sprinklers. Micro sprinklers that come up approximately a foot here and wet a large area, approximately 25 to 30 foot diameter. By doing so, it wets a very large portion of the root system of a pecan tree. It's also out of the way for our harvest equipment that can be an issue during the fall. In addition to using irrigation to maximize tree growth, we also minimize the competition from the vegetative cover under the tree. We maintain a herbicide strip of approximately 8 to 10 foot on each side of the tree to maximize tree growth, as well as to aid in harvest when we can blow the pecans out of that herbicide strip instead of having to rake them or sweep. This is an example of a tree that was planted too deep under heavy winds. You'll notice that there are no surface roots within approximately the first 8 to 12 inches. All of the roots are at the bottom of the tree. So that's why we encourage planting our trees high enough so that we do get that surface root to get the buttressing effect to support the tree under high winds. I thank you for your time in watching this video. Hopefully I've increased your understanding and knowledge of growing pecans so that you may be successful in growing pecans. For more information, please look at the North Carolina Pecan Growers website or look at North Carolina State University's Cooperative Extension Service website as well. Thank you and good luck with your endeavor.